Dim, come closer. Tonight's story is not for children who hide under their wrappers when a goat sneezes. Good, because this story began on a night when even brave men refused to whistle after sunset. Ekwambiaho, long ago, in a village surrounded by forests so thick that sunlight entered only by permission, a child was born. Not an ordinary child, no. The night she arrived, the moon bled. Not red like fresh blood, not red like palm oil, red like the evening sky after a village has cried too many tears. The old midwife, Mama Ifeoma, stepped out of the hut carrying her calabash. She looked up. Then, her walking stick slipped from her hand. The old woman's knees nearly followed it. She stared at the moon and whispered, "This child will see what others cannot see." Then she swallowed hard. But what she sees may never love her back. The baby's mother heard the words. She began to cry. The baby, she laughed. And from that moment, the village knew Adanna was different. Adanna grew quickly, too quickly. By 7 years old, she could look at a palm wine tapper and say, "Uncle, don't climb that tree next week." The man laughed. "Small girl, have you become my grandmother?" The whole village laughed with him. 7 days later, the tree laughed last. The man fell, not enough to die, but enough to spend 2 months sitting down very carefully. After that, whenever Adanna spoke, people listened, even those who pretended not to. Wait, have you subscribed to this channel yet? Come on, what are you waiting for? So, as Adanna grew older, her gifts grew stronger. At 15, mothers carried sick children to her. She would place her hand on a feverish forehead, close her eyes, listen to something nobody else could hear, then whisper, "The spirit troubling this child is called..." And somehow, she was always right. Soon, people came from neighboring villages. Some brought yams, some brought goats. One man even brought a chicken so fat that the chicken looked confused about how it became a chicken. Everyone wanted Adanna's blessings. Everyone respected her. Everyone feared her a little. But there was one person Adanna could never see clearly. One person who made her heart beat faster than the village drums. His name was Nnamdi. Nnamdi, you know the type. Tall, straight teeth, smooth voice. The kind of young man who could greet your mother and somehow leave with 2 extra pieces of meat. Dangerous. Very dangerous. When Nnamdi spoke, words came out sweet like fresh palm wine. When he smiled, even stubborn goats stopped chewing. And unlike the others, he never looked afraid of Adanna. He brought her white fabric, cowries, little gifts. Sometimes he would simply sit beside her and talk. For the first time in her life, Adanna stopped looking into the future. She started dreaming about it. And children, that is how love enters. Not through the door, through the window. Then came the festival of new yams. The entire village gathered. Drums thundered. Dancers spun. Smoke from roasted meat curled into the sky. The moon watched from above. Nnamdi pulled Adanna gently aside. His voice was soft. "Adanna, let me kiss you tonight." She laughed nervously. "Why?" He smiled. "So the spirits will tie our destinies together." Adanna should have seen the danger. She could see tomorrow, but love is the one thing that can blind even the eyes that see everything. So she said yes. Their lips touched, and suddenly the drums stopped. The dancers froze. The wind disappeared. Even the fire seemed afraid to move. Something invisible passed between them. Something ancient. Something hungry. Adanna staggered backward. Her chest tightened. Her vision vanished. Only darkness. Nnamdi stood smiling, but his eyes were no longer his. They glowed with the strange knowing that had always belonged to Adanna. He lifted his head proudly, then shouted for everyone to hear. "The spirits have chosen me. I now see what Adanna saw." The crowd erupted with cheers. People danced. People celebrated. Some even bowed before him. And Adanna, she placed a trembling hand on her chest. Something was missing. Something had been stolen. That night, she sat alone by the river. No drums, no singing, no future. Only silence. Tears rolled down her face. Then she heard footsteps, slow, uneven. Someone sat behind her, a hunchback, the village fool, the one nobody listened to. He said nothing. He simply placed a piece of roasted yam beside her, warm, fresh, then sat quietly. Adanna stared at it, and for the first time since the festival, she smiled. Just a little. Children, remember this. When the whole village claps for your betrayer, look carefully. The person who truly loves you may be the one bringing you food in silence. But that fool, that bent back boy everyone laughed at, he knew something. Something he had hidden for 7 long years. And before the next moonrise, Adanna would discover why Obinna had been watching her from the shadows. That is a story for tomorrow. When you come by the fire tomorrow, I will tell you why Obinna watched Adanna for 7 years and the secret he knows about the curse living inside Nnamdi.